Good afternoon, everyone. I hope we are all doing fine. Well, today we have with us Dr. Vinayak Ramesh Nikam. Sir is Scientist, Agriculture Extension, National Institute of Agriculture Economics and Policy Research, New Delhi. And the topic chosen for deliberation is formation and function of farmer producer organization for inclusive extension and advisory services. Sir, you are audible as well as visible, and your present screen is also visible. Please start.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for a nice introduction. Uh, Good afternoon, all participants. Still, people are joining, sir. Should I start my presentation, sir? Nashik, sir.
What, sir? You can start, sir. Around 280 participants are there, and around 200 of them joined. So it's we're nearly halfway there. We're around 94 people already joined. People would join in few minutes only.
Should I wait or should start?
Please start, sir. We are already 5 minutes into the.
Okay, sir. I will start it. My topic is Farmer Producers Organization, and but complete topic is formation and functioning of Farmer Producers Organization for inclusive extension and advisory services. Before going for that main topic, let us have some background why we need such types of organizations or why we need such types of institutions, innovative institutions. We know that our agriculture it employs 45% of labor force, and about 70% of population directly or indirectly depend on it. And if we see this composition of these farmers, 86% are the small and marginal farmers, and this average size holding is declining since 1970 onward. Therefore, we have major challenges that a large number of small and marginal farmers and their own challenges. These farmers are resource poor farmers, and if we see these their input and output that they produce, their input is that they purchase their input at global price, because almost all inputs are controlled by these we can say these global companies, Monsanto and other things, uh, big corporates. And when these farmers go to market for selling their produce, they sell it as local price. Means there is a vast difference between these input prices and output prices. Therefore, there is need that farmers also can sell their produce to export market to compensate that. Okay, and as we all know that there is this value chain or supply chain. There are a large number of intermediary and middlemen, and we have to reduce that supply chain and value chain, and for that purpose these innovative institutions are required. As most of us are from extension background, we have seen that since 1990 this this government or even international World Bank and other support for this extension, what we call as public funding for extension, has decreased. Okay, and after that, once that public funding has decreased, we have started different models of extension, privatization of extension, NGO-based extension, and now we are again looking for farmers-based extension provided by these farmer producers organizations. Okay, because these public institutions, they have own limitations, they have limited manpower, they cannot reach to all the farmers. If you see this ratio of KVK workers to farmers, it is almost around 44,000 farmers they have to cover. If you take a village extension worker, around 11,000 or more, around 1,000 farmers each VLW they have to consult every year. And apart from that, they have other responsibility and work burden also, and it is very difficult to them to reach to all the farmers. That's why we need some institutions which will provide these extension and advisory services to their member, and then we can call it as inclusive extension services. For example, when Maharashtra State Draksh Bagadar Sangha, MRDBS, Maharashtra Rajya Draksh Bagaiyat Sangha, or Maharashtra State Grape Growers Association. They provide very good kind of extension service to their members. They organize regular seminars, meetings, training. They also provide some kinds of inputs to their member. And likewise, association or farmers institutions we need that will provide extension services to farmers also. If you see the status of small and marginal farmers in India, they have around 44% of cultivable land area, but their contribution for vegetable production as well as milk production is around 70%, and they produce about 55% fruit production. And most of studies have found that their productivity is higher than the larger farmers, okay, and their multiple cropping index is higher. Also, their irrigation access is higher to the small and marginal farmer. But these are not totally good picture. There are many problems associated with small and marginal holdings. Uh, though their productivity is higher, researchers question their economic viability in long term. Because once they take loan, this year they could not repay, again next year they take loan, and that loan or credit or that borrowing goes on increasing and resulted into perpetual cycle of poverty. That is the big problem. And also, owing to their small nature of holding, they lack economy of scale. They have low bargaining power, they have limited market access, limited capital to invest again that. These are some major problems associated with these marginal farmers. Then, though this section is growing in terms of number, if you see their social and development indicators, their health, education, and even you can say income, they lag are behind the mainstream. Okay. Therefore, we need some kinds of innovative strategies or innovative institutions that will help these sections of the farmers for their sustainable development. Before going for major topic again, FPO, we will take some examples. Most of these examples I will give from Maharashtra as I have studied these organizations. This example I am giving that so that you will get more idea about the FPO, their functioning, and under what laws they are established. First example I will give is Mahagrapes. Though right now it is not functioning, okay, but I'm giving this example because it was we can say it as it has shown the path to other FPOs how to do business. It was yes, this Mahagrapes was started in the year of 1991. It was the time when the farmers they even could not think or could not dream about exporting their produce to European market. But this Mahagrapes was established in 1991, just after this liberalization, privatization. During that time, LPG model and globalization model, this Mahagrapes they acted as the marketing partners to different cooperative societies of grape growers. Okay, they become marketing partner with them with the help of this cooperative society. They establish the cold storage and cooling unit at cooperative society level. It's at very local level they established this cold storage and this other things. That was very innovative part, and also they established this market linkages with European countries. By doing this, they could give their members some more income, okay, as compared to other members, and even many small and marginal farmers, we can say they were linked to international market, to European market. That's why I'm giving this example, though right now it is not functioning, but it has shown the other FPO how we can do the business, how we can come together and establish these farmer producers organizations. Okay. Second example again, like this Mahagrapes only. One example is from Odisha. That is the Kasam Kandamal Apex Spice Association for Marketing. Right now it is functioning. It has more than 13,000 members at present, This custom also we can say is marketing partner to 61 spice development societies. These are located at local level. We can say block level also. It was established since 1998, and it is giving good income to their members. 30,000 members, particularly involved in this exporting or marketing of Kandamal Haldi. This Kandamal Haldi has got GI tag in Kasam. If you see this, they have their procurement center, and if you see the prices given by Kasam, it is around 60 rupees per kg, while those who are not member, they are selling in market at around 45, 44, 45 to 50 rupees. Those who are member or those who are dealing with this custom, they are getting more income as compared to others. Again, another example I will give from this Maharashtra. It is Sahyadri Farms. It is aggregation of different farmer producers company. Earlier, I gave this example. They were registered under this Society Registration Act, both Mahagraves as well as Kasam. But this Sahyadri, it is registered under Farmer Producers Company. There was an article in Financial Express since last 1.5 years back that next Amul in making. That is, there is movement led by farmers in Nashik district of Maharashtra, which will be similar to Amul. That was their intention. This Sahyadri farms, they have more than 8,000 farmers as their members. Okay, they are more. There are their aggregation of around 8 farmer producers company. These companies deal with different crops, fruits crop, vegetables crop. Even they are dealing with this what we call this rural tourism also. If you see this share of one single farmer producer company in total export of grapes in country, it contributed in 2018 data. It is there. It was about 14%, and I heard in last year it was about 20%. Just we can imagine how big scale this farmer producer company they are operating. Okay. So alone they are contributing 20% of total export of grapes in country. Also, that was termed in 2017, again more than 250 crores. If you see their infrastructure, our modern infrastructure is available. They're processing, pre-cooling, storage, processing, all kinds of value addition is being done here. If you take one example of mango, then they are selling mango as it is, as per the demand of market, and also they will convert that mango into all possible forms of value addition. Mango pulp, mango juice, and whatever it is, pickles, different kinds of pickle, whatever is possible, they are doing. Same is being the case with vegetables also. Even bitter gourd, it is converted into different forms. That's the reason it's we can say more successful. Their scale of operation also is large. You can say when the grape harvesting period is there, they employ about 2,000 laborers per day. Okay, and if you go and visit their office, we can see that around 250 employees. Some are doing MBA, some are BSc Agri, some are MSc, even some are PhD. They are working there. We can say permanent type of employee, but about 250 employees are there. This is how we can imagine the scale of operation and success, how farmer producers organization can be successful. Then next example again, it's not necessary that we should go with high or very big companies or association. We can start from small one also, and that is the example of Abhinav Farmers Club. It is located again in Pune. Mr. Nanishwar Gorke is the chairman or major person behind this Abhinav Farmers Club. With the help of NABARD, they have started, and in Pune area they have 350 members. Okay, so, almost all members are small, have small land holding, but they have also associated other farmers from all over the country. And as per this Naneshwar working, more than 2 lakh farmers have been associated with this Abhinav Farmers Club. Whatever they do, that their model is very innovative. They connect directly with the consumer. They take directly demand from the consumer through mobile app, and based on the demand they produce this crop also, and based on demand they harvest their produce also. Okay, and whatever they are doing, it is the type of integrated farming system model they are using. So that there will be cow, and even that cow's urine, dung, all product will be sold. As they have advantage of big city Pune nearby, they are selling all their produce. And this mobile app, and through that they are directly connected to consumer. Even those during this corona pandemic and first lockdown was there were many problem of transportation faced by many farmers. But the member of this Abhinav Farmers Club, they could not face problem, because this association has managed this all this formality associated with this police and other administrative formality they have done, and they were supplying their produce regularly to their customers, and in that way they could get they could get more income during pandemic also, during this corona time also. These are some example I have given. Now we will go to directly farmer produce. Main our topic, what is farmer producers organization. Hope all are following. Is it going in good way?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir, please.
Okay. In between, I also want to interact with participants so that I will know whether they are really listening or not. Okay, farmer producers organization, NABARD has defined that it is one type of producers organization where the members are farmer. Okay, and what is the producers organization? Producer organization is any legal entity that is formed by primary producers. They may be farmers, maybe fishermen, weavers, or any kind of primary producers. When they form any legal entity, we call them as producers organization. And when the producers are farmer, we call them as farmers organization. We generally hear different name: farmer producers organization (FPO). Sometimes we call it a farmer organization (FO). Sometimes we call it as farmer based organization (FBO). Okay.
7739 28 65.
Sir, you can mute yourself. Why FPOs are essential, we will again see, but FPO in many international organizations, they have acknowledged that yes, we need FPO for overall development of farmers as well as poverty eradication and overall development of country also. If you see the present status of farmer producers organization, the government, you must be aware that government has set target to form 10,000 new farmer producers organization till 2024, and government has allotted separate fund for it also. At present, there are more than some studies say more than 7,000, some studies say more than 9,000 farmer producers organization. But one study done by Ajit Premji University, Neti et al., they calculated more than 7,000 farmer producers company. Only company they are focused, there were more than 7,000. And right now, mostly these SFSC and NABARD, they are managing such types of farmer producers organization. If you see their business activity or level is at what level they are. There was article in Business Standard in 2020, February 2020. According to that, only about 30% of this all FPO they are operating widely. They have good business plan, they are good doing marketing and other activity. Other 20% they are struggling, or we can say they are just on paper, and 50% they are again in stages of formation. It's mobilization, members mobilization, equity collection, business planning, etc. Means we can say that at present only 30% they are working properly. Okay, and SFSC also they have stated in 2020 that majority of these FPO they struggle to establish viable and sustainable business model, and therefore they again fail to achieve significant revenue and return to their members. Uh, if you want to start farmer producers organization, many among you must be working to promote farmer producers organization. We have different options under which we can start farmer producers organization. These are particularly 5 options we have. First is cooperative society, second is producer company, third is non-profit society, fourth is trust, and fifth one is Section 8 company. This cooperative society we will see in detail. This producers company again will be seen in detail because these are the majority of them. Majority of FPO belongs to these 2 categories only. This non-profit society they are formed under Society Registration Act. Many this Kasam, Mahagrabs and other societies I have one example. This trust they are formed under Indian Trust Act. This we call it Farmers Trust, and Section 8 company it formed under this Indian Company Act, but it is non-profitable entity. The purpose is non-profit making. All these 3 non-profit society, trust and Section 8 they are non-profit making entities. And cooperative and producers company they can make profit. The details we will see. The government also when 10,000 farmer producers organization is promoting, major emphasis is being given on cooperative society and producers company. And right now, the last week, Prime Minister has announced that there will be separate Ministry of Cooperation also. If you see the distribution under different law, this was NABARD's FPO promoted by NABARD, and about 71% of them they were farmer producers company, and 22% they were cooperative, and others trust and other forms of association were present. And this cooperative society, almost all we must be aware that this can be registered under Cooperative Society Act of any state, or Autonomous Cooperative Society of Act of state, or even Multi-State Cooperative Society Act of central government. At least 10 members can come together. Those who are above 18 years, they can come together. They can form cooperative society. And if they are involved in this lending to their members, there must be some condition that they should have some similarity, either geographically or socially, caste, class, occupation. Okay. Then this PTCB management structure, this society includes chairman, a secretary, treasurers, members of committee, and other persons. Okay. This is the cooperative society. We have been following it since before independence, we can say. Even after independence, we have been following, and many success model we have. Amul, Mother Dairy, etc. Producers company. This is the major focus right now. Many farmers they are willing to form this producer company only, and they are registered under Companies Act 1956 under Part 9A. The object of the producer company shall conform to the activities included in 581B of the Companies Act. If we see this membership of this company under this Section 581C of this Act, again, like the cooperative, there should be minimum 10 members. Any 10 individuals that can come together and they can form farmer producers company. If there are more than, if there are farmer producers association, or we can say this producers group, even SHG, farmers interest group, joint liability group, such types of group, two groups can come together, and 2 or more groups they can come together and they can form this farmer producers company. There should be minimum directors and maximum 15 directors. Then professional assistant in the form of CEO is encouraged in this Company Act. Minimum paid up capital is 5 lakh and maximum minimum authorized capital is 5 lakh. Minimum paid up capital is 1 lakh and minimum authorized capital is 5 lakh. Area of operation like cooperative, there is no limit for area of operation for this producers company. In entire country they can operate their business. When we promote farmer producers organization, then there are certain stages by which we can promote them. This NABARD, NABARD has enlisted how we can promote this farmer producers organization. Broadly, three stages are there. First is iterative process, members consent process for this obtaining members consent. Then second is preparation of documents, and third one is the submission. That is the final one. Whenever we obtain this members cluster, we have to identify the cluster in that area. Right now, you must be aware that Government of India, they have identified the clusters of commodity. One district, one cluster, one district, one product. That is the scheme government has implemented for this FPO. And almost all district products have been identified by the states, and they have been submitted to this center. Like in Maharashtra, Sangli district, this grape crop is identified as a cluster. In Nasik district, it is post-harvest operations. Like you must be aware about this cluster of your district. And first, we have to see what clusters is there. Suppose grapes cluster is there, then which is better always to promote farmers-based organization in that cluster, so that other government scheme also we can take benefit of that schemes. Once we identify that cluster, next step is baseline and feasibility survey. We can go there, see what possibility of establishing FPO. Once we see the positive aspect, yes, we can establish. Then some kind of business planning we can do. What kind of procurement, what quantity of procurement we can do, what quantity of processing we can do, what kind of where we can send that produce to different markets, export, etc. Then once that some plan is prepared, temporary plan, we can meet these villages people. Okay. Once we tell these people some plan, then after that even we can go for exposure visit. Suppose farmer producers or farmers are there from Sangli. If you want to establish FPO there, we can take to their exposure visit to Nasik district of Maharashtra to show them how this Sahyadri Farmers Producer Organization is functioning. And of course, many FPO or those farmers who are interested in FPO, they are visiting these Sahyadri farms or other successful FPO. That is the exposure visit. Once that is done, we can form some critical groups. That is, who can be the major leader, directors, promoting directors, we can say. Okay. Once the director are established, we can again prepare one canvas of this producer organization through these critical groups. Again, we can clarify doubts and we can change this business plan also. Once this process is done, if this is okay to all the members, the promoting directors and all the members, they are ready to form this FPO. Then next stage, we go to the next stage where we will be collecting the share capital and saving from these members. We will identify at least 5 promoter directors, and again at this stage we will revisit the business plan. Then we will different documents we have to prepare, and important among them is that article of association and memorandum of association. Article of association is just like in our constitution, different articles are there. They talks about rule like that. this article of association of this pharma producers organization, they talk about these rules by which this FPO will be functioning. Okay, and this memorandum of association, it will cover all aspects. What will be the objectives of FPO? What will be the member? What will be their strategy for processing, marketing, all these things. These things will be covered under memorandum of association. Then once these two documents are prepared, then they will appoint a consultant, and he will do this, obtain the digital signature certificates and digital signature certificates for this company. Once this second stage is done, we'll go to the third stage where submission, we have to submit. First, what we will do, first we will apply for the name. Based on the availability of name, we will choose name for our company. Then directors, those who we have promoted, these promoter directors, they have to obtain this director identification number, DIN. It's all online process. They have to fill up their information, and they will get this DIN. Okay. Once this name and director information, that DIN is done, then these members will file affidavit of subscriber to MOA for signing in Hindi, and they will give power of attorney to the consultant. And in this way, all the documents will be submitted, and this permission for this establishing FPO or pharma producers company will be obtained. This is the very almost all step-by-step process, we can say, for establishing pharma producers company. Is only for company. What are the challenges of pharma producers company in India? Biggest challenge was this capital infusion. As this pharma producers company, likewise other companies, they are not listed on share market. Therefore, they cannot collect this capital from other than their members. That was the limitation. And also, when they go to bank and other, there were problems that banks then they used to reject or they will deny this credit to this FPO. But now, this in recent reforms, government has announced that they will create one fund, special fund for this FPO. Whenever any FPO is not able to repay their loan to the bank through that fund, if that fund is created by government, through that fund, that loan will be repaid. That guarantee is given to the bank, and that's why this capital infusion, you can say, this problem somehow it has been reduced. Next big problem is the professionalism. When I was talking about this pharma producers company, there was clearly written that there should be one CEO, Chief Executive Officer, that's professional person to assist these members and directors of FPC. But if we see this the functioning of many pharma producers company, the CEO as well as they don't have their special office also. CEO also is not there, and also we can say most of rules are not followed. That is the we can say lack of professionalism is there, still there. And of course this group dynamic aspect is very strong in India. We have different castes, different regions, different religions, different political systems. In one village, there will be people from different political backgrounds, different socio-economic system, and managing all people is a really difficult task. Capacity building is again a major constraint faced by this newly formed pharma producers company. Because once that is formed, FPC is formed, then what kind of business to do, where to market and other, and also many procedure formalities that they are not aware. That's why capacity building part is also major challenge for them. Access to finance, already I told that right now the government has tried to overcome that aspect. And support during incubation, the technical and procedural support is lacking. Still it is lacking, but right now when the government has said they will promote this cluster-based business organization. CBBO, this promoting institutions will promote CBBO. I will give detail about this CBBO and promoting institutions in later slide. That once that is done, to somehow extent, this problem also likely to be reduced. Of course, taxes was the major problem. Right now, government has considered that if the company's annual turnover is less than 100 crore, there will not be any taxes. But once that crosses 100 crore, this company has to pay taxes equal to other private company, other corporates. Important activities of farmer producers organization. First important activity is the procurement of imports. For example, again I will give from Maharashtra, Sai Pravara Farmer Producers Company in Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra. What they will do, they will procure their inputs, fertilizers, pesticides, and other inputs, even their livestock feed from directly from these companies, pesticides company, fertilizer company. In that process, when they purchase in bulk from this company, they have the bargaining power. They can bargain the price. At concession rate they will get there. At the same time, they are reducing this margin or profit of all these middlemen involved in that, agents and these input dealers, all these things. By doing such activity, they are saving about 25 to 30% of input cost of their members. Means we can say that the 25 to 30% less cost of production for their members. As we can imagine, if there's 25 to 30% less cost of production, their BC ratio, cost benefit ratio, will be higher. That is such kind of procurement of input activity can be done by farm producers organization. Then dissemination of market information. As one example, Abhinav Farmers Club, I told that directly from the consumer feedback is given. At the same time, some organization like this Grape Growers Association, they are providing market information to the farmers. Dissemination of technology and innovations to the farmers. I gave an example of Sahyadri Farms. These Sahyadri Farms, they are involved in research activity also. They have developed their own varieties of grapes. These varieties are preferred by the consumers in European markets. Okay, and last year again I had heard news that they were introducing grape crop, such types of grape crop that can be grown twice annually. Right now, grape crop is only one season crop, but after the introduction of that particular variety or they have introduced that grape crop where the farmers can take grape crop twice in a year. Like that, these farmer producers organizations, they can help in dissemination of technology and innovations to their farmers. They can facilitate finance for this input. Because if we see these individual farm company, FPO with individual farmers, the credibility of FPO will be more in banking institutions. That way, they will get loan easily as compared to individual farmers. Aggregation and storage of the produce. They can aggregate their produce at one place. This particularly after these new reforms in agriculture, they have focused more on farmer producers organization, and in that, if suppose one company is there, they want to purchase some product from the farmer, for that company it will be always easy to collect that produce from one point of the farmer producers company or organization at one point rather than going to different large number of farmers. That's why aggregation and storage of produce is important activities farmer producers organization they can do. Primary processing, drying, cleaning, grading, brand building, because whenever we go in market we see some product and that product is being prepared by farmer producers company. Of course, our credibility, credibility of that brand is high for us, and we'll purchase that product. and the brand building can be done by farmer producers organization, quality control, marketing, and even they can participate in commodity exchange, different commodity exchanges. Of course, the export is a major target for this farmer producers organization. Uh, what factors we should consider before promotion of farmer producers organization? First, three important factors: that producers, then market demand, market related factor, and third one is the policy environment. And producers means farmers, what is their economy of scale, type of products they are producing, their willingness to adopt the new technology, whether they have any incentive to join the FPO. These things should be considered. Once these farmers they assess, we can see the market. If we are promoting one product in that district and that likely to result in more production of that commodity or that produce, then is there any market, sufficient market to absorb that additional product? Okay, and of course there will be vulnerability to market shocks. Sometimes prices will be higher and sometimes will be very low. Demand of the produce from major corporates, this big bazaar and more and other things. How we can make contact with them, how we can make contact with processing firms. This marketing aspect we have to see. And policy environment, of course, right now we have good policy environment to promote farmers producers organization. Government is giving more emphasis on that. What should be the optimum size of farmer producers organization? There was one NABARD conclave in 2015. Various top officers of NABARD and various departments they came together and they discussed what should be the optimum size, member management, output, marketing strategy for this FPO. That they found that they just concluded that an area for this farmer producer organization should be around 4,000 hectares. All the members area. The land should be in contiguous micro watershed to address the issue related to sustainability. And this producers organization may cover generally one or two contiguous gram panchayat, so that the management aspect will be easy. Okay. Area, the members should be around 7,000 to 1,000 members. Okay. Right now, what government has decided, we'll see next slide. The management, it should be that the managing cost should be around 2 lakhs per month, that is 24 lakhs per annum, and volume of output about 2.5 crores annual turnover should be there of this FPO, and marketing should be within 200 kilometers. Of course, this is not valid for those who are exporting. Okay, this is related to optimum size. Then there are different promoting institutions. They are involved in promotion of this farmer producers organization. They can be NGO, any bank branch, government department, cooperative society, or any association or federation. They can become these promoting institutions. Right now, many federations are being established in different states. They are promoting this. They are acting as a PI. These organizations should be legal entities so that they can enter into legal valid contract with other institutions, this FPO and NABARD also. And they get some benefits from NABARD and SFAC to meet their expenditure. Last year, government had given certain guidelines for establishment of 10,000 farmer producers organization. They have given these guidelines. We can say these as a criteria. Those farmer producers organization are established and those are following these criteria for 3 years. They will get benefit. These benefits. First we'll see the criteria. Then the criteria is that there should be produced clustered area. That is already I talked about one district, one product. Already this product has been identified for every district. Government has said that minimum size should be 300 in plain area and 100 in hilly area. And among that 350% should be marginal farmers, women farmers. You'll be surprised that earlier slide I was talking about optimum size of 700 to 1000. And here government has said that minimum 300. In that case, anyone can question that sustainability, that this FPO will be sustained for in longer duration. But the government earlier was thinking of, even they had given this 500 limit, but there was some opposition from farmers organization that it is difficult to mobilize farmers in large number at the beginning to start the FPO, and it's very difficult. That's why that number was reduced to 300. Okay, but government also said that once this FPO form, they can be federated at different level, district, state, or national level, so that again their area of operation will be more, and they can achieve again this economy of scale. Strategy again is same, that is they can be encouraged to form the farmers interest group, joint liability group, SHG, with 15 to 20 members, and these 20 members they can come together in plain area to form one FPO. At one block, at least 2 FPO the government is targeting right now. This federating I already discussed, and there will be National Project Management Agency. This agency will be set up by the SFPC, and this agency will provide overall project guidance, data maintenance, through integrated portal, and information management and monitoring. Right now, we don't have database of all farming producers organization. This NPMA will help in that. Of course, SFPC will be looking after those producers organization formed under Companies Act. NCDC will be looking the farmer producers organization formed under Cooperative Society Act, and NABARD again both companies as well as cooperatives. This cluster-based business organization will be promoted by this SFPC, NABARD, and NCDC at each state or cluster level, and they will form and promote FPO as per their requirements. Financial assistance, they will get some benefit, about 18 lakh. Okay, 18 lakh or actual, whichever is lesser, during 3 years from year of confirmation, if they follow all these criteria. Financial support for this CEO as well as this manager will be provided. Accountant also will be provided, and equity grant, if the equal equity grant, maximum up to 15 lakh will be provided by the government to the FPO. These are certain new guidelines and new benefits of FPO. There are many benefits of FPO. This right from their production, pre-production, production, post-harvest marketing, even some natural resource management and entrepreneurial ecosystem. Types of FPO are there different, basically market oriented, input oriented, extension oriented, policy and advocacy oriented. These classification is followed, and different strength, weakness, opportunity and threats are there. I think only 5 minutes are left, and as directed by this course, direct course coordinators, I will stop here, and I will again I will say that you can ask questions if any questions are there. These 5 minutes are for discussion. 1 minute I can take this FPO for this success of this farmer producers organization. Here, these top boxes you can see, these are very important. The supportive government policy, of course, we have fulfillment of members' expectations. These Sahyadri farms, I can give example that once upon a time there was a loss to this farmer producers. Mr. Vilas Sinde, is promoter of Sahyadri farms, but by selling his own asset and by arranging money from here and there, he could give that their price to the farmers, same price, so that farmers could not lose, and in that way he could fulfill these members' expectations. Likewise, if this all farmers FPO, they able to fulfill this members' expectations, they will be successful. Of course, group dynamic and leadership is very important. If you take any example of farmer producers organization, there is one or two leader with successful person behind that organization, behind that FPO. Because this leader is required to make linkages with research institutions, government institutions, marketing institutions, and all other stakeholders involved in that process. There should be non-political natures, as these detailed rules are not found. Detailed rules are not available for this FPO. These are glued together by ethics, professionalism. Okay, that is the reason that ethics and professionalism also are very important for successful FPO. Of course, linkage with research extension organization is important, and capacity building, skill and training are important factors for success of FPO in our country. Now the session is open for discussion. If any questions or your suggestions are there, I will welcome them.
Sir, thank you very much, sir, for a nice presentation. Actually, you started from the concept and various modes, modalities or the formats wherein FPOs can be formed. And likewise, you dealt in detail about farmers producers company, the limitations and all those things. Thank you very much, sir. So now there are some questions in the chat box, sir. Mr. Jairaj P from Kerala Agriculture University has two questions to you. Jairaj sir, are you on the board? You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Actually, many farmers are coming forward to form FPOs. Assumption that by making an FPO, they will make wonders. But actually, the reality is not like that. So, my humble question is that because these FPOs are now being exploited by the company secretaries and the chartered accountants by charging huge fee for the mandatory filing of returns.
Can you be a bit slower, because this I could not hear you properly.
No, I already typed in the chat box.
Your question is there any provision to have common fee or mandatory filing of returns? First question you want to ask, two questions you have put, I think.
Yeah, because the company secretaries and the chartered accountants are charging huge amount as service fee because they are actually exploiting the farmers because they don't know how to file the returns. So, is there any mechanism to have a common amount of filing these equations, and whether this can be replicated in all the FPOs?
Yes, sir. When if we want to establish any FPO, particularly this farmer producers company, about minimum 40,000 and maximum about 55,000 to 60,000 expenditure is expected. But as you said, that some CA they will charge high and inappropriately. Of course, I think once these cluster-based business organizations are established, they will take care of all these things.
Okay, then another point is that to avail the equity grant support from SFAC, is there any directions about the director board members, whether any women participants is mandatory, or the share regarding the share price, one single price, whether it should be 1,000 rupees, then only they will get a huge amount as ticket grant. So that type of clarification also needed, because most of the FPOs are found by charging around 100 rupees as share fee, and later they are finding it difficult to get equity grant. They can avail a maximum 5 lakhs only. So that has also to be conveyed before forming an FPO.
You are saying what conditions should be there? Yes, SFPC, when SFPC should can give this benefit to FPOs? Yes, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, is there any procedures to avail the equity grant? Is there any minimum period of working by the FPO to avail for an equity grant? or immediately after forming?
Under this 10,000 promotion of 10,000 farmer producers organizations, sir. These conditions, as I was talking in our previous slide, that three, four conditions are there. They have to, this FPO, they have to fulfill that condition. And again, it was not sure, but I heard from officers of agriculture department from the central government here that this condition should be fulfilled for 3 years, minimum 3 years. Then they will get the benefits.
Okay. Then one more question is that, is there any working capital is available for FPOs from any government agencies? Apart from the credit, is there any working capital to take up their activities, business plan? Whether that can be availed from any of the agencies apart from the credit?
That I don't have any idea, sir, about that.
Okay.
Only credit, they have established a fund, also separate fund. If the FPO is not able to repay that through that fund it will be managed.
Okay, thank you.
Sir,
One more question by Bhargav Baura is there, sir. Can private limited company also promote FPOs? That is the question, sir. So he's not there on the board, I think. You can just answer, sir, so that others will get the benefit of the question. Can private limited companies also promote FPOs?
Sir, already when I was talking about that, I said that whenever the promoting institution should be formed under any act, okay, it should have any legal status. If this company is formed under legal status, but I don't know exactly this private company can be part of that or not. Other organizations, this NGO, the cooperatives, this federation, they can be part. But, again, sir, sorry, I don't know exactly about this private. It says that any entity formed under this legal act can be part of PI.
What about educational institutions, sir, like SAUs and all those things?
It can be part, sir.
They can be.
KVK, they are promoting.
Okay, yeah, the KVKs are doing. Okay. So there is one more question to you, sir.
Yes.
Is marketing the main objective behind formation of FPO? Anand sir, if you are there, you can directly ask the question to the resource person. Dr.
yes, sir, I am listening.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, because sir was telling about so much of FPOs, and he was also telling that only 30% of FPOs are in the limelight, means they are successful, and so many FPOs are struggling. So I just wanted to know whether, means on what way you measure the success of FPOs, whether it is based on marketing or on the contrary, what is the main objective of setting up an FPO, whether it is for marketing a product or providing extension related services like that? I wanted to know.
Sir, right now we can say that major objective is that yes, marketing only to give more produce to their members. Okay, but right now that is the for any FPO or any that economic motive will be higher for establishment of this farmer producers organization. Of course, once we establish, we are trying to incorporate extension and advisory services and other model in that. And again, if you see their purpose also, that all directed towards the economic motive also, that give better prices, better income to farmers.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, Vinayak sir, one question from my side, sir.
Yes, sir.
Say our Amul pattern cooperative societies are doing very well, sir.
Yes, sir.
What limitation of these societies as opposed to this new concept of FPO, sir? Exactly, very important limitations.
Actually, sir, FPO, where this farmer producers company, if you say FPO, that's cooperative also part of that. But right now, mostly we say this farmer producers company.
Okay.
They will came into existence to overcome some of the limitations of cooperatives. And major limitation of cooperative was this politicization.
Politicization.
A lot of politicization was there, and to bring about some professionalism.
Okay.
Professionalism in line with these private companies.
Okay, okay.
That's why it is under this Ministry of Corporate Affairs. We have to establish it under Ministry of
Okay.
Corporate Affairs. This company, Ministry of
Okay, okay.
Corporate Affairs. That
But we have a very good example of Amul, wherein which has infused a lot of professionalism, sir. So there is a very nice example in front of
yes,
us.
Amul and Mother Dairy, some examples are there. But again, many examples are there which are, which we have seen this how sugar factory, sugar industries, particularly cooperative sugar industry.
Correct, correct.
Lot of politics and other things are there.
Sir, one more question from Saurav, sir. He has a question. Mr. Saurav, you are there? You can unmute and ask the question.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, sir, in case of farmers club, we have a proper guideline to form. One, suppose I want to form a group, I can advise them that you firstly you form a group, and then you should your account number. Suppose in this case, in this regard, I want to say that how do I initiate? How do I initiate to form a APC? No, what is my initial objective?
Sir, initial objective, you have to decide as per the situation, prevailing situation in your district, your farmer, these members of this FPO. And you said that what should be the procedure. The procedure, one slide I have established, I was discussing. I discussed it for 5 to 7 minutes, that single slide. That slide will give you idea how we can establish. First consultation with farmers, then making this memorandum of association, article of association, DIN number, and then submit this, how this procedure started.
Yes, sir. In this case, who will borne the financial load?
If you are availing benefits under this 10,000 farmer producers organization by fulfilling that criteria, government will support you. Otherwise, all expenditure you have to incur. These farmers, they have to incur this.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Saurav. If any other questions are there, you can directly ask the resource person. Is there to answer? Sir, very nice presentation, sir. Plenty of appreciation words are there.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
all
you.
participants also.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the participants? Sir, I have one more request from our side. You can share the PPT also to the participants.
Yes, I will share it.
So later we can
I will
pass it
share
on.
it to you. You can share it.
Yeah, we'll pass it on to the participants.
Okay, sure, sir. I will share.
So thank you very much, sir, for giving a very nice account of the formation of FPOs and their use in extension efforts. So thank you one and all on behalf of all the participants.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all participants for giving this encouraging feedback also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We'll end the session, sir.
Thank you.
Majid, sir, last words from your side.
Sir, on behalf of the participants and on behalf of the organizing committee, we express our gratitude to sir for sharing such a lovely presentation, and the interaction, the question answer session was also great. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Take care. Take care. Bye, sir.
Everyone, let's join tomorrow at 11. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.